Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to episode 5, Discussion with Sports. Grant, what do we got?
Yeah, so we are looking at many sports today. We will be discussing about the MLB and the National Football League today. I'm gonna start off talking about the NFL news today. Let's get into it.
Let's get right into the news.
Alrighty.
Okay, guys, as many of you are well aware, that Deshaun Watson is probably not going to be traded this year.
Oh.
And you're probably wondering, why is he not getting traded? And it's because of these allegations he has had over sexual assault. And
He's petty.
yeah, down bad. This man's down bad. And so teams are not looking at him in free agency. Now you may be wondering, well, why not the Miami Dolphins or the Carolina Panthers? See, the reason is because Tua Tagovailoa isn't a bad quarterback. He's on a bad and rough team. And you might be thinking, why not just take the spot of Sam Darnold, you might ask. And you might be like, you got Christian McCaffrey, you're all set. But there is much more news. For breaking news, Titans fans, Derrick Henry is projected to be out until, if the Titans can make the playoffs, until the playoffs. And this is big news for Titans fans, because if we want to look at the statistics, the Tennessee Titans have not won a single game without Derrick Henry. Shocking, right? Isn't that shocking, guys?
Wow.
Ever?
But
Shocking.
the AFC playoff picture is looking very interesting now, because the Tennessee Titans, they might have the number one spot in the AFC, but without Derrick Henry, the real question is, how are they going to do without him? So this has just been going on around all day, and the Tennessee Titans are projecting to work out Adrian Peterson, a future Hall of Fame running back. And this might be very interesting because Adrian Peterson has not played in years, but he is a future Hall of Famer. So will we see him go off, or will we see the Titans' backup running back go off? It's such a big and interesting question that we can all just think about all day. Now, the Cleveland Browns. Oh man, it was a rough day for me yesterday. I just want everyone to know that I am a Cleveland Browns fan, and we lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday, and it was a very, very interesting game. I will say. Well, the Steelers kicker, they did a trick play. They did a fake field goal, guys. They could have just taken 3 points and 1.5 up 6-3. But then, Mike Tomlin had something up his sleeve. He wanted to go for a fake play because he didn't think the Browns would be ready for it. But that was not the case. The Cleveland Browns were perfectly ready for it. And next thing you know, you see Chris Boswell pretending to be a quarterback, and he just gets domed, right? And so we look at this, and Chris Boswell gets a concussion later on the game, and you might be wondering, well, they've got to have a backup kicker, right? No, newsflash, they did not have a backup kicker on the team at the moment. So Mike Tomlin was looking like the MJCA Saints football team, going for 2 a single time. And it was so interesting because the score was 15-10, and everyone was like, "Oh, did Pittsburgh get a safety or something?" I was like, "No, they just didn't have their kicker." And it was very fascinating to me how this worked. And also, Browns, I don't know where we stand in the playoff picture. We are in the hardest division in the NFL. We got the Steelers, Bengals, the Ravens, and of course you got the Cleveland Browns. So you might be wondering, well, what's the playoff picture looking like for the AFC North? Well, right now the Bengals are really, really hot. And for the sole reason of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase being on fire together, Jamar Chase is probably most likely going to win Rookie of the Year. But let's not look at that. Let's look at how he compares to any other wide receiver. So I just want to hear y'all's opinions about Derrick Henry being injured and how you think the Titans will do.
This is looking like a situation of the Braves in the middle of their season this year when they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. The Braves are like 5-2, 6-2 now or something. 6-2 now, and they're looking good. They're looking sharp right now. I mean, they're beating teams not by a lot, but they're winning. They're capable of winning. So I think they're gonna have players step up, and just really lock in. Because they got their backup running back McNichols, right? And then they signed Adrian Peterson, who, like you said, is a future Hall of Famer. So I think those two guys are going to have to step up, and they know that. And other teams are probably drawing up game plans for the Titans pass game, when the Titans can hit them with some sneaky run game. Now that Derrick Henry's out, they'll take focus from their run game. So I think the Titans will have to focus on the run game still. Maybe getting more outside zone runs than inside power punches like they usually do with Derrick Henry. But I think with the other players stepping up, like A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, is he supposed to come back? I don't even know. He's been playing every other week.
He played yesterday.
He did. But yeah, if Julio Jones gets healthy, they'll have some good receivers. They got some young potential too. So, I think the Titans are making the playoffs and getting Derrick Henry back, and then they're just going to go off in the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't know if that's Super Bowl bound, but I think they're making it a first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Tennessee Titans, you got to also think about when Derrick Henry does come back, is he going to still be the best of the probably MVP caliber that he is now? Or is he going to kind of, gradually slow down and kind of be a little slower? And it's just such an interesting concept to think about. But back to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is, he might be tied with Cooper Kupp at this point for, I'll give Cooper Kupp the edge over Jamar Chase. But Jamar Chase, don't get me wrong, he is considered one of the best wide receivers in the league. And you're probably like, Grant, you're smoking. I'm not. He's first in yards per reception. He's tied. He's actually in fourth place for third place for most TDs so far this season, and he's third in receiving yards. Now, you might be wondering, well, what other? So, just to sum this up, he is better. He has more receiving yards than Devontae Adams. One of the best wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, you name it. The only people who have more receiving yards than him is Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp. And it's just really, really fascinating that he's only a rookie and he's already proving these numbers. But the NFL is heating up. Never would I have imagined that the Cincinnati Bengals would be one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And it's just so crazy to think about. But as we move from football to baseball, I will let Nick kick us off with the baseball part.
Yeah. So most of you guys know, the Houston Astros and Atlanta Braves are in your 2021 World Series. And I just want to bring up that Atlanta does lead the series. I believe it's 3-2. With a terrible loss last night in their home field. Which now today they're traveling over to Houston. This was their travel day, and tomorrow they'll play at 7:09, I believe. And we'll have to see how that game goes. But I do love the pitching by both teams, both Houston and Atlanta. I think it's phenomenal. It got last night's game, or what was it? Yeah, last night's game. Like, Braves were winning.
Oh yeah, the Braves.
The Braves
So
were
the Braves
winning.
hit a grand slam in the bottom of the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
The game's looking good. It's looking like the World Series is over after that. Like after you take a 4-0 blow in the first, you're just kind of like, I mean, there's still a lot of game left, and the Astros knew what their offense can do, and the Braves gave chances to come back, and that game wasn't managed well either by their manager Brian Snitker. He left in the starter a little too long. They were able to get 2 runs back, and then it ended up, they ended up getting 4 runs, tying it up, and then Freddie Freeman's like, no, check the momentum back, hey, hitting a bomb, and then, AJ Minter got bases loaded and walked a run in, which, you can't shoot yourself
because
in the foot like that.
they were tied. Atlanta and Houston were tied.
Yeah, especially in the World Series, like you can't
get bases
shoot
loaded
yourself
and
in the
then
foot like that.
like sell.
Yeah,
Or the pitcher.
exactly.
But we'll have to see with these next. If Braves win, they take over the champion from the Dodgers from 2020.
Yeah.
And people like, oh, 2020 was COVID, so that World Series didn't count. But I do believe the Dodgers fans are like, oh no, that counts. That's the World Series. But
I mean, here's the thing: the Dodgers are just a really good team.
yeah,
like,
they are.
Even if it was 162 games, they are probably winning that World Series anyways. But the Braves will have Max Fried tomorrow, you'd assume, because he's fully rested up, and then Ian Anderson the next day. And Max Fried.
Well, that's if they lose. If Braves win tomorrow, I mean it's over. So.
Yeah, if they do. But Max Fried got blown up in Game 2 of the World Series, which the Astros team hits well off lefties, so it's interesting to see how that game tomorrow is going to go. Which Max Fried might be on it, and they might not be able to touch him that night, tomorrow night. But Ian Anderson is considered a rookie. He pitched in the postseason last year, but that year didn't really count, and so he's considered a rookie this year as well. And he threw 5 no-hit innings against the Astros, and his pitch count was pretty low, and they pulled him just to keep his arm fresh in case they needed him to come in or pitch another game. So he's going to be rested up for the final game, if it gets to that point as well. And he tore the Astros up. So that might be interesting to see as well.
Yeah.
And keep in mind.
Now, here's the big question, though. Do you think that the Atlanta Braves will close it out tomorrow and win the World Series? Or do you think that Houston will push it back and take it to Game 7?
I'm kind of leaning toward Houston's gonna take it to Game 7, just because I think they're really 2 good teams, and they're really competitive. And I'd like to see it move to Game 7, not only just because they're not my teams. Yankees are my teams. Like I mean the Braves are awesome. Astros I can care less, but I think they're really 2 good teams though. But I like to see them like really fight, like really be competitive in Game 7. And I'd also like to see the Braves win the next game, like tomorrow.
Yes. Like, I mean, for me, of course, I want the Braves to win.
And I want the Braves to win because, Houston's always been in the World Series too. Like, they've been in it 2019. So, like, Braves haven't won since, like, was it?
1995.
Yeah, 1995.
Their last appearance was 1999, and their last World Series win was 1995.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
they've
think
got a solid Braves team,
I think
especially this year.
Braves should win.
Yeah. I mean, Braves are my team, and I hope they win. But I think it's going to Game 7, and I think the Astros might pull through and win. I think it's going to Game 7 because it was 3-1. Last game, you could see, the Braves got a lead, but they were feeling too comfortable with this Astros team. So, they allowed them to come back and win and push the World Series further.
I think the Braves got a little cocky at the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
I just think they got comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think they're a little comfortable. So that's why I think it's going to get pushed to Game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to, like, oh, shoot.
That's what happened last year against the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If, like, everyone's just pushing it till Game 7 and
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's fun to watch, but, like, when you can shut it out early, like, don't play with your food.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, I'd take the advantage and, just finish it early. Go home early.
Yeah.
My
grandpa is like, these Braves need to go ahead and win because I can't stay up any later and keep watching games.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we have any more subjects on sports. We kind of want to start keeping these podcasts short and producing more. So we're coming up.
I got a little. We can talk a little basketball because basketball.
Yeah, if you want to talk basketball, yeah, basketball.
Yes.
I don't know much of what's going on. I know the Bulls are looking solid this year. I think the Warriors have been off to a pretty good start.
So do you think NBA or college basketball is better?
College.
Yeah, college for sure. Because
I think college and anything is better, except for baseball. But
actually,
yeah.
I think for me personally, I like the NFL more than college football because every time it's Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah.
Same team.
I like the different teams in the Super Bowl, but when it's college, I like the competitive, like how they, like it's always like, it's always like hype kind of, but like in NFL, like, I mean, not that it's not hype in the NFL, it's just like college, like,
college
it's more of a fighting thing.
Yeah, you got these college students coming in going crazy, and then you got these people playing like they're playing a more like uniform game of football, where like the NFL is like
a job.
You got these stars that are getting it's their job.
NFL's a job. They take
these
the most
college
money.
Students are like these college students are like, this is our, like, we only get this time once, and it's like if some of these kids won't even like make it to the NFL, or if they do, they won't play as much, but the NFL is like, it's their job. They're getting paid to do it. It's like, and they, it's their career, so they're gonna do it for a lengthy number of years, so it's not as competitive. It's like, oh well, there's always next year,
Right.
College is not really like that. You're graduating people, so it's like, this is our 1 year to do something, in a senior mentality.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, so when the NBA, man, I mean, we're looking at teams now that last year we would consider really, really good, like Milwaukee Bucks, the Phoenix Suns, the Clippers. I mean, all these teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at it now. Milwaukee is 3-4. Phoenix is 2-3. Then when we look at like teams like the Bulls and the Knicks were, I I could be wrong, but they were, I think, the like third worst team in the NBA.
Actually, last year I think last year they got to the playoffs barely.
I don't think so.
No, they did because the Hawks played them, and the Knicks were giving Trae Young, and like they were blasting Trae Young, but Trae Young gave the Knicks the work and ended up beating New York. I remember seeing that all over Instagram last year.
Really?
Yeah, so the Knicks at the beginning of the year were really bad, but then they started getting hot. I think it was after the All-Star game
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
and squeaked through to the playoffs.
Yeah, but Washington Wizards, Chicago Bulls, Charlotte Hornets are all really, really good now. I mean, personally, I really like the Charlotte Hornets for the sole reason of LaMelo Ball. Like, you can. Okay, I hate his dad with a passion. I hate the way he did everything he did, but LaMelo and Lonzo and now all three of them are in the NBA now,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy to think about. But I think personally, those brothers have really changed, these teams, especially the Hornets. I mean, when you think about the Hornets, 2 years ago without LaMelo Ball, they were considered one of the worst teams in the NBA. I mean, it's it's amazing just to think about how the NBA has changed.
Oh yeah, and college basketball. See, college basketball for me is so much better than NBA, but like NFL and college football is like kind of even because they're two different like aspects to it.
Sure.
But NBA is just hard for me to watch NBA games just because it's like everyone's got to be better than everyone else. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't. For me, like I kind of like vague on that subject because I don't really like follow NBA basketball. It's just like I don't know. For me,
Yeah. Thank you.
I just see stuff on Instagram.
I mean, I mean, I like basketball. I do. It's just like I just don't watch it. It's just kind of one of those things. Like I can play it all day, but like I just don't want to. I don't care to watch it.
Yeah.
Basketball, in my opinion, is more of a sport to like play around with your buddies.
Yeah, like
Than like
go shoot hoops, then like actually just sit there and watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that it?
What were you gonna say?
Is that it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can come up here on a wrap. Coming here 23 minutes. We're gonna try to start keeping them short. Produce more. If any of you guys like to just comment, much appreciated. If anyone you guys want to join in the podcast, just comment down in the section. They are open. They're free. Like and share with the rest of your friends, and make sure you subscribe and stay tuned because if we do get more viewers, we're gonna make another YouTube channel, I guess. But that's all we have for right now, and stay tuned to episode 6. Take care.